Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park 21 playthrough with the Cubs. So we finished the season up the last episode, and I've gone ahead and simmed through until free agency. Just started free agency today, and I've made a couple of offers already, but that's probably what we'll go through this episode. I'd like to get through most, if not all, of the offseason this episode, but first things first, we'll look at how the awards and everything played out and the playoffs, how they finished up for the season. We finished at 71 and 91, if you didn't remember, but that was honestly a pretty good finish considering how we have been playing up until that point. We finished the last month 14 and 10. I'm hoping that's a positive leading into next year. But let me see if I can get to the history here, and we'll look at the playoffs for this year. I guess it was kind of some karma here in some ways. You had Houston making it in the American League, Los Angeles making it in the National League, and Los Angeles pretty easily over Houston 4-1. Phillies did make the wild card in this season, 2020 season, sorry. So they had a better run in this playthrough than in my test playthrough that I've been working on. But St. Louis also made it. Pretty good series here. Los Angeles 4-3 over St. Louis. But honestly, Houston just kind of mowed through everybody. I mean, they had a pretty good series there with the Yankees until they got to the Dodgers. I mean, they didn't have the best record in baseball. That went to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was out early, but they had an easy run through the American League to get to the playoffs. So let's take a look at some of the award winners. Start down here with the Gold Gloves in the American League. Kind of your typical choices. I mean, Andrelton Simmons. The way he's rated in this game is crazy, but he had a very good year for the Angels here offensively. He's an 80 almost across the board on his defensive ratings. The Matt Chapman, another guy who's got very high ratings defensively, he won it at third. And then in the National League, this may have been one of the few, if the only award I think we got in the offseason. Baez got the Gold Glove at shortstop. Phillies had a couple of representatives here. That was nice to see. Billy Hamilton. I started following him when he was a rookie in Cincinnati. I've always liked Billy Hamilton. He plays just all out all the time. He won the Gold Glove and got a lot of starts there with San Francisco. That's good to see. I've seen him live several times. This guy, he's really fun to watch. But anyway, back to the rewards. Duffy got the award in the American League for reliever of the year. A lot of times I've noticed the AI, when they vote, they're looking at a lot of criteria. It's almost never the save leader who gets it. Ferguson, same deal in the National League, which, I agree. I'm to the point where I realize a good reliever is not just about the save numbers. So it's good that they're recognizing that, but you're going to have a very overwhelmingly good season leading the league in saves and getting this award, I think. And then Silver Slugger in the American League, Vladimir Guerrero, Francisco Lindor, Trout, your usual guys. National League, couple of the Braves here, Freeman, Albies. Albies had a good year here in this playthrough. Cody Bellinger, Mookie Betts, Corey Seager. So 3 Dodgers, couple Braves, maybe a couple Nationals. So it was really just 4 teams there. 1, 2, 3, 4 teams represented Silver Slugger. Rookie of the Year, Jared Walsh had an amazing year for the Angels in the American League. 38 home runs, 119 RBIs, almost 4 wins above replacement. And then Gavin Lux, pretty solid year for him in the National League for the Dodgers. age 22. So that's those Dodgers, man. They always get the rookies. I don't know what it's about. I was reading the other day somewhere in real life. If you've been a baseball fan for a while and remember this, they went through a streak in the 90s where 5 years in a row they had the National League Rookie of the Year. So they've always, I don't know what it is about them, but they always have a good minor league system. No Cubs here represented. And then manager of the year, Boone for the Yankees, Roberts for the Dodgers. Cy Young, American League, went to Garrett Cole. In this playthrough, he had a good season. In the playthrough I'm running with the Phillies on the side, man, he's almost done. He's 2 seasons into that big contract, and his ratings are down to 2 stars. But in this one, he had a great season, first season with the Yankees. Your usual candidates here. Brendan McKay, though, maybe a new, he's kind of a rookie here. He shows up at Glasnow, Reezy, kind of your usual suspects. And then it went to Flaherty from St. Louis in the National League. He did have a great year. 15 wins of 1.95 ERA, 248 strikeouts. Won it. He got all the first place votes, so he pretty much won it unanimously. Syndergaard and DeGrom. DeGrom was injured a lot this year, so that's why he didn't get it. Aaron Nola got some votes there for Philadelphia. And then MVP, Eloy Jimenez. Second year in the league. Had just a monster year. 6 wins above replacement, but 52 home runs, 300 plus batting average. Great year for him. Lindor second, Alvarez from Houston third, and then Bellinger MVP, second year in a row for him to get that award. Out of the Park really likes Bellinger. I've been playing, last year's version, several playthroughs I did with Out of the Park 20. Bellinger always had a pretty decent career. The 2 playthroughs I'm going this year with 21, he's just a monster. I think in the other one he's got some 80 maxed out individual ratings on that one as well. But good year for him. 9.0 wins above replacement. Seager Betts, so all Dodgers for the first for the top 3 vote getters at MVP. That's amazing. And Cubs, do we have any votes getting? Nope, nobody got any votes. Philadelphia, Gregorius, and Harper got some votes, but that's about it. So when it comes to arbitration, what I did is I went with Happ, Baez, Rodriguez. Almore was a big surprise. Bryant. I exercised the option for Rizzo, so I'm going to pay him next year, and I avoided the last option for Lester. So those were the things I think I had talked about before that I was going to do. So if you look at where we're at right now, we got a lot of money for extensions, a good amount for free agents. So going into this season, starting this playthrough, I think it was like $4 million a piece for both those. So now we're in a little bit better shape. Well, we're in a lot better shape when it comes to extensions. But I've gone ahead and, let me just take this piece at a time because we want to look at the salaries that we got going into next year. I would love to get rid of this Hayward contract. I don't foresee that happening. If I could, if I go and try to trade him away, this is what I get. It's a lot of high-end contracts on guys who are, nobody's going to offer me anything right now. So I feel like I could either drop him if a really good prospect comes along, like Brendan Davis here is one of my better top prospects. He's going to be in Double-A this year. He's had a good run every step along the way. He's looked good. So if it comes that he turns into a good, I worry a little bit about his position rating at right field, but if he comes in and has some monster numbers within the next year or two, I would not be afraid to drop Hayward, but I'm stuck with him for the moment. So that's 2 more years, 3 more years. Wow, that's going to be hard. But the big questions are going to be Bryant and Rizzo. What am I going to do with those guys? I mean, Rodriguez, he was the trade I made at the trading deadline. If he has a good season, he may be the one of those 3 that I keep. I know that might sound crazy, but he's 27. I need pitching more than I need offense, I think, at this point. And you can see, man, this lineup next year, it's skewed towards prospects and rookies, no question. So I got to hope that Hap stays, developing and keeps, his numbers where they are. He's going to be important offensively for the next few years. Horner, I'm hoping that he, there's things about his offense that I like. I hope that he can develop a little bit more. If that happens, then I'm not going to feel too bad about letting Bryant and Rizzo go, but I think next year may be the last chance I have with them. And a lot of this, of course, it's just how they rate and how the game engine is gonna how they rate in Out of the Park 21 and how the game engine handles their progression. But Bryant, for instance, his numbers are already going down, and you can see his performance over the last 3 years. 2019, a 5.1 wins above replacement. Okay, not bad. But this is nowhere near what he was first couple years he was in the league. And, well, first even 3 years he was in the league. So he's going to want incredible money. And I just, I don't even know if I could trade him. I may, depends on how we look going into next season, I may have to trade him. Rizzo, of the 2, I'd rather keep Rizzo. But I feel like even now, he's wanting a long-term contract. If I could get maybe 3 years out of this, I would think about it. But we're gonna see how these 2 look next season. But on the team in general, I think it boils down to relief pitching. I need some help in that bullpen. I'm okay with really where we're at starting pitching. We got Rodriguez, Darvish, Patterson. I think he could be ready to go. And who else do we have? Abbott. He's not. He had a fairly decent year in AAA, but then we've got Hendricks. So this is basically what our starting rotation would look like now. So we got Darvish, Hendricks, those are locks, and then Rodriguez, those 3, and then you're going to have 2 guys competing for that last spot. Offensively, I think we're set at catcher. I'm going to bring up Amaya, who a pretty good prospect. He was in AAA for just 8 games last year, but looked really good. I've got Caratini. I think he would be adequate as a starter. We got Rizzo, Horner, Bryant, Baez. I think the outfield looks okay except for Hayward. So offensively, I'm probably going to ride it out. But pitching is where I'm going to try to improve. So what I've got so far in the free agents, I've got 2 offers out here. Wilson, a 3-star left-handed pitcher who's coming off a really good year with the Mets. I've offered him a contract. I think it's 2 years for $6.4 million. And then this guy's an international guy who came up. I think long term he could be the closer, and he's got great stuff, great fastball. 4.5 stars already. He's 26 years old. So I've offered him a 4-year contract. I've only got, I think it's 1 more year with. I've only got 1 more year with Kimbrel, unless I wanted to go with that team option, and I probably won't because I'm really conservative. I know, but he would have to have a great year. If he has a great year next year, I might go 1 more year on that option. But if I don't, I'm hoping that this guy I'm trying to sign will will help me out. So that's where we're standing on free agency. Now, I wouldn't mind getting one more starter. And let's see what we've got available for starters. We've got Garrett Richards, who's fragile all the time. We've got Trevor Bauer, who's rated pretty decently individually in this game. But his numbers haven't really, it's been couple years anyway, since his numbers have looked $20 million good. So I don't want that. Kluber, he's only wanting $10.5 million. He's coming off a pretty decent year. At least he looked okay at New York. I just feel like 34, unless you get him for like only a year, he's not going to last. Odorizzi, he's wanting a long-term contract. He's looked good in the last 2 years at Minnesota, but he's wanting 8 years. I'm not going to give him that. Here's Jose Quintana, who I traded away. I could get him cheap now, $6.3 million. I just don't think he's worth it. I didn't trade him away. Sorry, I let him go. So, wow, there's not much here that's really blowing me away. I mean, Colin McHugh, he's wanting $10 million, and he's coming off a good year with Boston. I think he may have been injured, though, a little bit last year. Yeah, he was out all total like 4 or 5 months last year. So that would scare me. Gosh. I mean, if I knew I could get a couple years out of Richards, 25 starts or so, even I would take that. James Paxton, he's fragile as well, and he hasn't really looked all that good since those years in Seattle when he was, he became such a hot commodity. Let me see with Bauer. I mean, I don't have to give him a whole lot of years. What was his personality race? He's fun to be around. Let's see if I could give him a 3 years. Let's say 14.5. Wait, sorry. That's not working. And then see if I use that for all. See what he would look for. I mean, he would go 5 years. I mean, let's do 3 years with that and make the last one a player option. Now he's going up. I should have gone the 5 years, I think, at 15. So let's go 15 with the last year a team option with a $1 million buyout. And let's see what he says to that. All right, let's see. All right, so $15 million a year, 5 years with a team option. So 4 years guaranteed, really. But that would eat into our budget. That'd be pretty much all we would be able to get with free agency. Let me take a look before I sim ahead here. Are there any issues? And I think there are. I mean, I feel like we need probably a backup infielder. Let's see what's out there for that. All infielders. What am I missing here? Sorry, took me a while to find that. There's some good infielders out there. I mean, like Simmons, Cabrera, Gregorius. Man, there's a lot of pretty nice free agents this year. But I'm just, of this bunch, I'm really just wanting maybe a 2.5 star utility type player. Kipnis, he was not good for us, so not him. Michael Franco, Enrique Hernandez, he's wanting to be in the starting lineup. He plays a lot of positions, but none of them, exceptionally well. Here's Brock Holt, who can play a lot of positions, but he wants to be in the starting lineup. Cesar Hernandez can only play second. Hechavarria, he can play second, third, short. I like that, but he wants to be in the starting lineup. So I don't really feel like... I could maybe platoon him a little bit at second with Horner. He's not going to get much time. But he would be a better backup there. I might have to just risk him being angry and offer him that contract. Let's see, he's wanting to be... Cabrera's coming off of an amazing year for him, 5.5 wins above replacement. He's kind of, in this playthrough, he's going to get probably 2 or 3 more good years salary-wise before he's through. All right, so who was I looking at? Okay, did I miss it already? How about Scoop? Is he wanting to be a starter? Yeah, but he's only second baseman. Profar, don't like his ratings. Pinder, he can play a lot of positions as well. Second, third, short, and the outfield. He's wanting to be in the starting lineup. That's probably not going to happen. Obviously, but his ratings, even from OSA and mine, he's not going to give you a good average. So I don't want to do that. So was it La Stella that I was looking at? No. Brock Holt, that's who it was. I'm really liking this guy as a utility man. He can play a lot of positions. Might get some starts in right field as well. So let's go with this guy. I think that would be... I might even get 2 years at $3 million and see what he does on that. All right, so that's free agency for now. That's pretty much all I really wanted to do. I want to get those starters going. So what happened to the Trevor Bauer thing here? Yeah, okay, so I didn't submit it. Okay, so here's what we're looking at, free agency. So we got Wilson, Bauer, Ibarra. Pretty decent. I think that would help the pitching staff a lot. And then Holt, I think, would be just a great all-around utility guy. I could put him, in a lot of places. And, again, he may even start in right over Hayward. But so what we got next? We got the Hall of Fame voting. I'm going to go through that. And we've already got a trade proposal here. Let's see. Solis. So, pretty decent international fine. Not going to go with this. They've been trying to trade this guy to me, Kiermaier, for a while, and I'm not gonna be interested in him. $11.5 million. He's fragile. No way. So we really need the team's help. So start a charity. This is one of those new kind of playthroughs. I guess I'll start a charity, but a little role-playing aspect on the team. So we got a trade proposal from Baltimore. This is Tanner Scott. Wow. You throw out that control. But they're wanting Brennan Davis. And he is one of my better prospects. So if I look at the Cubs, Brennan Davis right now, he's 79th. It's not great, but he is in the top 100. Which we have 4 in the top 100. If you look at our minor league system rankings, we're 24th, but we have 4 players who are ranked high. Horner, though, already in the majors, has been, couple seasons really, and then Amaya, who's going to get a look this year. Let's go ahead and see if we can get to that Hall of Fame voting. And we've already, so he's already wanting more money. So let's go through these. Edwin Godoy, Tommy Edman. He's a guy I've been using on my Phillies playthroughs. He's a good utility type player. So we've got that charity going. So what does he want? Let's see what Trevor Bauer would want. $18 million. Is he worth $18 million? And here's the thing. If I look back at the salaries for next year, Darvish, he's got 2 more years. There is no option on Darvish. I mean, I've got him for that full 3 years. Hayward, same way. Hendricks, the same way. But I do have some room next couple years if I don't sign Bryant or Rizzo to a long-term contract. So I'm going to play along with Bauer here on this one. I'm going to I'm fine with that contract, but I want a team option with a buyout here, and let's see what he says to that. You got to give me that 4th year option. Let's say maybe a vesting option. 25 games started. And he keeps going up. So this guy's just really, at this point, jacking me around. I'm not going to go for 20 plus with this guy. So I'm going to just take a break right now. I'm going to sim ahead to the Hall of Fame voting, and we'll pick it up from there. We'll see how some of our other free agent offers look. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're up ahead to the Hall of Fame voting, so we'll do that in a minute. But a couple developments in free agency. We did not get Bauer, and this is something that when it happens, it's frustrating, but he went with Philadelphia, and look at what he did. So this guy was hammering me for $20 million over 5 years. He went with Philadelphia for 16.2. So crazy, but that's how it works sometimes. So I lost him. Another interesting pickup here, St. Louis picked up Mookie Betts. So that's going to make them a pretty big competitor. Well, they're already a big competitor in that Central division. I don't know if we got standings from last year still. Yeah, so they won it last year with 87 wins in a pretty weak year for the division. Man, that's going to make them pretty tough. So what they're looking like now, they've got, if you look at their roster, they've got Betts, Bader, who's a really good defender in this playthrough. He won I think he won Gold Glove. No, he won. He was a MVP of one of the playoff series. But you got Suarez, who they picked up from Cincinnati. Man, they've got Colton Wong, who's looking good in this playthrough. Goldschmidt, who's showing his age, I guess, but he's still looking pretty good. They picked up Real Muto. So they are basically buying themselves a spot back in the playoffs. They've got a great pitching staff. Flaherty, who won the Cy Young last year. So they're definitely the class of the division right now. Going to be tough to beat. And for me, nothing going on these other offers. They're still pending. Ibarra, at least he favors my offer, but haven't heard from these other 2 guys. So I've just been kind of stretching, finding out what I'm going to do to pick up another pitcher, because now with St. Louis being so active, I definitely think I need one. I'm currently scouting this guy. He's an international free agent from Japan. We'll see how he looks. And if my scout thinks he's all right, I may make an offer on him. I've also been looking at Cahill, believe it or not, because he's a couple years removed from being an effective starter. If I could get him maybe for just a little bit of money, he might round out the staff, in that fifth spot and be okay. There's not a whole lot to choose from. I can't go like Kluber. He was wanting a 4-year contract, and Odorizzi's wanting close to $20 million, a long-term contract. Can't do that. I think with his age and ratings, he's going to be 31 next season. You might get 2-3 more really productive years from him, and that's it. Let's go ahead and look at the Hall of Fame voting, though. I like to do that every once in a while. I don't do it on every episode, but we'll take a look at it, see who's still out there. So Bobby Abreu, I'm a Philly fan, and I always go with this guy. I think he had some great numbers in the prime of his career. He always drew a lot of walks. It was on base, everything about him offensively was good. He was a good defender. I always go for him. So we got Wilson Alvarez, first-year guy. No. Mark Burley, who did win 214 wins, but nothing else going. I'm gonna this playthrough. I'm gonna be kind of the devil's advocate. I'm gonna go Clemens and Bonds. So we got Cordero, pretty good closer in his career, or his J.D. Drew, Cal Eldred. I'm not seeing too many of these first years, and these are going back a ways too, some of them. Todd Helton, I've been voting for him, although I think his numbers are inflated. Hudson, I'll give him a vote. Torrey Hunter's he was a good player overall, but I don't think his numbers are Hall of Fame. Jeff Kent, I'll go with him. Matt Morris, nah. Chan-Ho Park. Andy Pettit, I have been voting for him. I know there's some controversy around him. Scott Rowland, I'll give him a vote. Sheffield, same deal, but I think it's hard to argue with his numbers. And let's see who else we got. Anything coming up here? Vasquez had a pretty good career. Vizquel, he's one that's great defender. Just offensively, it's going to be hard to make the case for him. And then the last one, I'm going to put Billy Wagner in there. So that's my ballot. So now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go through the winter meetings and get back to the Rule 5 draft. And that'll probably be how we end this episode. But I will sim ahead and be right back with the Rule 5 draft. All right, we're back with the Rule 5 draft. I'm going to take a look at this, and then we'll show you what's happened in free agency since then, and that'll probably do it for this episode, because I don't think I'm going to get too much more done in free agency and trading until we get closer to the regular season or spring training anyway. So let's look and see what's out there on the Rule 5 draft. So starting pitchers, we got Shelby Miller. Wow. 2.5-star guy. Is he worth taking a gamble on? Let me see. It's been a while since he's done anything in the majors. I mean, we're talking like 2015, really, before you have a decent outing from him. So that scares me a little bit there. But let's look at all pitchers first. And let's see what we got. So we got Shelby Miller. We've got David Sosby, pretty decent bullpen guy, but he hasn't had a whole lot of time in the majors. And this guy's in Double-A, so nothing much there. All batters. So I'm still kind of looking for a utility type guy, because I'm still waiting on my guy to sign that I offered, but not seeing much here. So you know what? We're just gonna complete the draft. So nothing really striking me here for the Rule 5 draft, and not much taken from anybody really. A couple catchers, and that was about it. So if we go back to where we stand in free agency, I have made one more offer. It's probably going to be sketchy, controversial, but I want to get past this year at least. And so I want one more guy in that rotation. And Hendricks, who has suffered a little bit, he's going to be a couple months before he's able to come back. He may not come back at the level that I need him to be. But I feel like with Hendricks, Darvish, Rodriguez, maybe Alzolay, maybe Patterson, we may have the makings of a doable rotation for next year. I just can't make myself offer some of these guys what they're wanting. So that's where we stand. I know I've said it before, I'm very conservative, and it's just, like Odorizzi, for instance, he went with the Yankees for 6 years. I just can't make myself commit to that kind of time frame on a pitcher who's 30 plus years old. So what I decided to do is Garrett Richards. I decided to offer him a 1 year contract, $5 million. If he's, sometimes you get lucky with that, and maybe I'll get half season out of him, at least enough that I'll feel like he's worth $5 million, but enough that he can at least shore up that pitching rotation until maybe one of these new guys, one of these prospects like Abbott here, who needs a good look, I think, in spring training. He may even be ready to go. He's got 4 good pitches. He's got good stamina. He might be the 5th starter for us. Don't know, but I want some insurance, and so that's why I gave Garrett Richards that offer. And then the other one out there, Holt, still favors the offer. I'm hoping I get him because, again, I think he's the utility guy we need. Kipnis, a couple other guys we had last year, they just didn't cut it. So we need somebody a little bit better. He could do that and start in a few areas. So that's not a big postseason, but I did get all the pitchers that I wanted on the relief side. So if you look at our transactions here, we, is that it? So we got Justin Wilson, we got Ibarra, who is potentially a closer and waiting, and we got the guy who before last episode, it was Ibarra, Wilson, and I thought there was one other guy we were going for. Maybe not. But, we've got like a 5-star, 3.5, 4.5, 3-star in Wilson, who's got really good individual ratings. So we may have enough in that bullpen now to get us through. There might be some call-ups here we can make. As we get closer to the preseason, spring training, I will probably keep tabs on that free agency, and if there are some good deals out there in pitching, I'll probably pick up one more on the reliever side. I think the last I looked, there were still a few who were not that bad, like Hendricks, Hand, Bradley. I just don't want to. They come in wanting to be closers, and I don't have room for them as closers. So I just don't want to get a situation where I got somebody on the team who's going to be unhappy with their role. But Robertson here, for instance, he's looking pretty good. He might be worth the pickup. He's been injured though quite a bit. Last couple seasons is the only thing, but he might be worth it if he's still out there trying him. So one more bullpen guy, and I think I'll be happy and good to go, and we'll see what happens next season. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next episode.